How does it mean to be born in a business family and then end up doing the same thing that your father or a forefather really started with it? What I want to do is, Brahmani, if you permit me, start with you and then go across the panel.
So Siddharth, I think my experience has been a little different. And first of all, thank you so much Business Today for having me. And Siddharth, it's always a pleasure to be speaking with you. My experience is a little different because I wasn't born into the family that started the business. I was married into the family that started the business. And I was extremely privileged to have that experience. But honestly, I think it's a lot of responsibility. I take it up as a responsibility to take forward a fantastic business of purpose that was started more than 3 decades ago. It was started, it's a dairy business. We're into milk and milk products. And it was started by a tall leader, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, for the purpose of helping farmers in his village in the Chittoor district. So it's a huge responsibility because we are a federated model. We are a business that's meant for the empowerment of farmers, which I'm personally really excited about. Again, I'm excited about it because I think a lot of stakeholders, important stakeholders in our business are women naturally. Right from the suppliers, 80% of our farmers are women. And on the consumer side as well in the market, the major decision makers of health and nutrition for any family ends up being the women of the family. So for me, I think it's a huge opportunity to empower women through our business, and the impact that we can have, I think, is tremendous. So it excites me and it feels very motivating to be in this space.
I'm glad you said that context because it's not just about being born in a business family. As Brahmani said, you could be married into one and you'll still have to carry forward that legacy. And she's like hands-on running that company. That very same question to you. What would you say about getting into the family business and having the load, responsibility, and some ways the pressure to excel?
Thank you everybody for having me, and thanks Siddharth for the question. And it's amazing to be on the panel with two of my friends. So honestly, I was born into a business family, but I was never made to feel that way because we never had business conversations on the table ever. Like we never had anything. My parents, to a very large extent, just wanted to, I think, protect their children. They wanted us to remain kids to to the level that we could. So around when I was a teenager, I went to the US to school and I studied there. Even then, right, I didn't really understand what, good or bad, I didn't understand what it was to run a business, why I should. And I think a lot of us, unfortunately, are like that because we have the, we're very, I guess, content with what we have. We're provided whatever we need. But even in school, I was a total nerd. So it was just complete book knowledge. So it wasn't something that I learned from when I was a child. It was just something that I actually started developing once I joined the company. One day, I was actually pursuing fashion earlier in my career. One day, my dad just had a meeting with me and he was like, hey, why don't you jump into Granules? We're doing this, this, this. So I said, okay. And even then, I was just working. I was going to work. I was just coming back 9 to 5, just doing that. But I think the true responsibility hit me when I moved to the US again and when I was made accountable for a division overnight. And that's where I think the whole aspect of what a business is, how do you run it, I learned everything on the job. But what the family taught me was resilience. I saw my father work day in and day out because he was an entrepreneur that came from absolutely nothing. And my mom was the silent force behind everything. She was also working in the company and taking care of a family. So I think that is what I learned from being a part of a family business.
Many things to unpack there. And that pivot point that you spoke about, we'll try and come back. You know, the same question, but one quick addition, and which is finding the motivation, according to me, must be a huge task for an inheritor. What drove you?
I think it's, first of all, thank you. Thank you for having me here. I think it's interesting that how Now, can you hear me? Yeah. Thank you for having me. I think it's very interesting that how each one of us has a different story.
Yes.
She was married into a family business. She got into it much later in life.
Yes.
When I was 6, my father started this business. Till I was 6, he had a job at another company. So I have seen him build it from the start. And by the time I was 13, I would say, I developed an interest in chemistry. I went on to study business and chemistry.
So at 13, you knew this
Not
was
at
it for-
13, I studied this, but at 20, I knew I was going to join the company because I had an interest and I was attending meetings with him at 18. So it's a different story for each one of us. And what motivates you, I think, you said earlier that you're doing the same thing in and out, what your previous generation is doing, which is not true at all. Okay. When you start, you are told that you have to bring something new to the table. You have to be different. You have to be your own person. You have to be your own leader eventually.
So that's the mandate that is in.
That is true for everyone. So and that is what motivates you again, right? To be different and to set your own path and to create your own niche as a leader.